Morning. You just gotta stop and admire that tractor when you drive by it. Today officially marks day 21 of continuous harvesting action. Tomorrow will be day 22, unless of course we get hit by a meteor or have a locust invasion. Both of those probably more likely than a rain. Unlike yesterday, we are actually going to get this 2660 VT running. And as a matter of fact, there's actually nothing left for us to do. Our salesman from Alliance Tractor stopped down yesterday while we were picking corn, and he figured all of this out. Well, check in the 9460R. It's in the case, and it's also on the tractor now. What's wrong? Tell me. Everyone stay calm. Oh, coolant below service level. There's a simple fix for that. It's called just revving the engine up, getting some temperature, expanding that volume. It's not that I couldn't have figured this out, I just didn't have the time. For as complicated as this is, it's also pretty simple. I know a lot of you weren't around 2 years ago when I demoed one of these in the fall, so I'll give you a quick rundown. Adjustable gang angles from 0 to 12 degrees. Adjustable hydraulic downforce on the twin set of spiked rolling baskets. Hydraulically adjustable front to back leveling. Wing downforce to make sure that your outer sections are staying where they need to be. Not only are these hydraulically adjustable, they can just be dialed in the cab because of the true set system. Except for the front to back rear leveling. Not because it doesn't work, we just don't have a fifth remote. Just hold on right there for the season. Isn't this nice? Look at these nice color-coded attachments John Deere put here on the hydraulic connections. It only took them $130,000 fancy disc to add that option. And there's our true set on the 2630 display. I'm wanting to run pretty aggressive here on angle. We're gonna run 12, which is max. This thing's backwards. I keep thinking up goes up, but up actually goes down. We run 600 on the basket, 4.5 isn't plugged in, wings. Let's do 200. Now when I click this #1 lever in, you'll see that everything goes yellow, meaning that if the tractor is moving, it will engage all those. Okay, let's give this a shot. Speed, that's part of the package with the vertical tilt. They seem to do a much better job the faster you go. She's pulling pretty hard. Figured we might as well get out and do a status check. That's what she looks like when she's in the ground. Everything's firm, run a 12-degree angle here, as aggressive as we can possibly be. Baskets are putting a lot of pressure down. Keep in mind that the goal out here is to be able to no-till into this next spring. Doesn't really look like it's going into the ground. Or is the ground that hard? What they did there. Regardless, one thing I would like to see out here is a little bit more sizing of the residue. A lot of these corn stalks are still intact. That's not really that surprising because we did just pick this corn less than a week ago, so there's a lot of health left in these stalks. It'd also make an incredible amount of difference if we had a chopping corn head to actually start the decomposition process the minute the corn is removed. Unfortunately, we don't have one of those yet. We'll work one more round and see what we think and then call it quits for the morning. Not going to be surprised, but I made a few more changes. Now working about 6 inches in the ground, which is as deep as that'll go. Even with that change, it's still struggling on a few of these rows to actually mulch up the corn. It is first thing in the morning, to be fair, and these corn stalks are much like soybean plants we're trying to harvest. There's moisture on them, so they'll probably work better in the afternoon than they would in the morning. I also changed my track spacing from 30 foot to 29 foot to get a little bit more overlap right here. Really, that's just to make sure there's not a spot that gets missed and we have a row of corn stalks every 30 foot because we didn't overlap a foot more. If I'm being completely honest with you, I'm not really that ecstatic with how this finish looks. given how much money we spent to upgrade to this VT. A week's worth of decomposition could make a world of difference. We aren't normally this close behind the combines with our stock tillage, which could explain a lot. This is a rough ride. I can't decide if we've answered all of our questions or just created more. That actually looks pretty good. I will say that you really appreciate all the added amenities in the 9620R and the 8R370 when you hop back in a 10-year-old tractor. And I'm not saying that to not make it seem like that's a nice tractor. It is. Everything's relative. You just realize how much more they've pushed the luxury in the newer models. Please don't be out of fuel. This is the most painful part of the week. Putting diesel fuel in your truck. Oh no, we are out. Oh, that's unfortunate. Might as well shut off before I pump all the grime out of the bottom of the tank. Oh man. We probably actually just need a bigger road fuel tank. This is 500 gallons maybe. In all reality, we probably need 1,000 to 1,500. Semi trucks are what really suck down the fuel this time of year. Hauling takes a lot of hydrocarbons. Oh, we got over a quarter tank. That'll last us a couple days. Looks like I showed up in the nick of time. The auger's already set. Don't you just hate it when you miss out on the worst part of the day, setting an auger? I have no idea what's going on or where we're headed, but I don't get paid to know what's going on. I'm just supposed to follow. I can tell you with complete certainty that we are headed that direction. This is the last bin we have to fill here. The north one's full, the south one's full. We don't use the old harvest stores, and the 3 south smaller bins are full of beans. We've harvested all of our close fields, so we brought the drive over pit this morning. That way we can just have the trucks running in and out. I'm not gonna be carting it back and forth. Oil on the right hubs, oil in the left hubs, oil in the engine. That means we are good to go. Okay, I gotta clean these windows real quick. Well, they're clean-ish, maybe. Part of my problem is that my window cleaning rag is completely filthy, and it helps to have a clean rag to wipe the windows down with. Essentially, all I'm doing is just spreading dirt around. I'm not really picking any up. I've actually got it all figured out. When Lenny's of age to clean the windows, I can send him to clean him and blame him for doing a bad job. When I clean my own windows, I've only got one person to blame for the quality of the work. Where did Marty go with that combine? Oh, there he is. Just to our northeast. Let's go join the 780. Maybe we should start growing some wheat. Well, what do we have here? Someone left their combine unattended. You guys know what that means. Visibility in the backup camera has reached an all-time low. I don't know who parked that grain cart there, but it is in a terribly inconvenient spot. This farm's just a stone's throw away from where we were harvesting yesterday. We have some DeKalb 6141 double stack corn out here. For some reason, this farm has always been a yielder. It's not the most fertile on paper. It shouldn't be our most productive acreage. However, it always brings in high averages. Here comes Marty with the other combine. Our daily dose of combining is coming to an end. This show would be stopping soon anyways. There's no trucks here, which we're gonna go fix. Everything looks good. Hey, there's a farmer with some good tasting equipment. Time to hit the races today. First thing we did is get LibreCart dialed in. This is the web farm, as we've named it. and we are hauling to the middle 30-foot bin. All of our farm names have justification of some sort or another. However, I can't explain every single one of them to you. Most of the time we name the farm off of who we bought it from. I guess I should add, if we are just farming for someone else, we typically name it after the person we're farming for, and also nickname it what they call that farm. This isn't going to be a full load, but while the combines open up the field, it might as well be sending a truck to the bin. Otherwise, Jeff will just be sitting here twiddling his thumbs. Oh, whoa. It should be a pretty good day of picking corn. Marty's picking up a steep hill with an almost full grain tank. Almost guaranteed that he ran it off the back. Maybe not this time, I'm not seeing any. I've been running this machine for 3 weeks in a row, and I have yet to program or customize my 4600 display, which seems very uncharacteristic for me because normally I'm the first person to play with all this stuff. Anyways, this is the stuff I put on. I've got the built-in camera on the front, built-in camera on the back of the tractor, integrated in the monitor, 4 hydraulic levers. I only actually use 3 with the grain cart. Engine power, rear PTO speed, PTO remote, which basically keeps PTO on if I walk out. I knew the PTO shut off if you got out because it beeps at you if you're not fully in the seat while it's running. And I got out the other day to go look at something while I was loading a truck slowly at the bin, and I turned around and I was like, it doesn't sound like the auger's running anymore. And it wasn't because it shut off. All you do is click this button, boom, PTO remote engaged. Why is it beeping? Maybe it's because the PTO is not on? No. And of course you got the auto steer stuff, what field we're on, shifting my track, quick line swaps, and then a little visual indicator of my lines. Yeah, so pretty much home sweet home at this point. This DeKalb 6141 is heavy. Oh yes, 938 bushels, and she isn't even that stuffed. Okay, maybe there's not that much room left, but there is room. Been out in this field for close to an hour now, just finishing up the point rows and getting the rest of the field really opened up. Boss's S780 combine is showing a dry average of 260 and change. Even if we're off 5% on that, that's still really good corn for this farm. This is normally the part of the day where we start to pull away from the trucks. Once the combines are in the long rows, they stay harvesting almost the entire pass. That's when you get a lot of bushels coming off. 2 trucks are running to the bin just a mile to the west, and 1 truck is going to the elevator. We know that this field will fill that bin and then some, so we're just getting started early with hauling to the commercial storage. That way we don't have to just catch up at the end. Regardless, the trucks have their work cut out for them this morning. The bin's full, so Marty disappeared, and it's just Katie and I running now. And Lenny and Allie. No, you're not here, Lenny? Okay, never mind, just Allie. This will be short-lived just because the trucks are now going to the elevator and they'll get behind even faster than they were already. Still just Katie and I running. We've only got a couple of acres left in this field. Not even including what's on the combine or what's on the cart, this corn has already made 220 bushels per acre guaranteed, and we still have 4 or 5 acres to pick on the backside. Time to finally test out our concept of a widened Kentucky bridge, or Missouri bridge, or Mississippi bridge, whatever you want to call it. It's just a crossing through a ditch. That project was surprisingly successful for something I did. Although I actually cut it for the bigger combine, the S780. It has a little bit wider stance, so that one's more nimble through there. This DeKalb 6141 has always been a strong yielder on our farm. Metaphorically, I would describe these genetics as racehorse genetics. There's only one goal out here, to produce the largest amount of kernel mass and ear size possible. The population of this field is 34,500, at least that was the target, and you can tell that we have some pretty impressive ears. So the genetics are holding true in that regard. However, there is a downside to those type of genetics, and that is late season stock quality. Essentially what happens is this plant all the way to the finish line packs everything it can in the ear, even cannibalizing some of its own cellular structure on the stalks, on the stems, and other supportive areas of the plant. 6141 has big ears and even bigger yields, but you do have to keep an eye out for it because later in the harvest season it will get brittle, tops will come out, and eventually the entire plant will fall over. All things taken into consideration, we'll happily deal with a little bit of stalk degradation when the ears look like this. Seed companies go through a lot of hybrids over the years. The turnover is actually pretty short. You know the product's good, like the 6141, when it's been around for 3 or 4, maybe even 5 seasons. A lot of times they've rolled out new, better hybrids before the other ones even really get a tenure. Oh, look at that. We've got a truck waiting on us. I think one more truckload will probably finish this field. Enjoying the combine on the backside. Almost done with the backside. Seeing as I'm waiting on the combine to top me off and a truck to dump onto, now may be a perfect opportunity to walk back in the corn I have and clean my rear camera. Everything gets a little dusty. Get out of here before I get buried alive by Katie's combine. I need to replace these boots. Hey, there's a semi-truck I've been waiting on. Might as well wait on the combine to finish up and dump out. That'll do it for this field. Now that's a real operator right there, going back for one single corn plant. She does a better job than me. I would have just hopped out there and Chuck Norris kicked that thing over and forgotten about it. I may never learn not to do that. It's never a good idea. Would you look at those nice, clean cameras? I'm willing to bet $20 that we do not quit. I bet you we go to Buds or Chamberlain.
I bet we go open up Chamberlain.
Katie said that the boss claimed that we were quitting after this field earlier, which seems very unenergetic of him. We can't quit. We're just getting warmed up for the day. Headed back closer to home. Chris is here just in time for me to finish this off and move home. There you have it, 254 dry bushels per acre. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a pretty impressive yield for this farm. Like I said at the beginning of the video, not really our best dirt on paper, yet it always yields. There goes Cade from Lakeland with our tillage tractor headed west. And this rig is headed the opposite direction, east. Looks like the rest of the family's setting the auger as we speak. Do I want to help them? No, not really. Am I going to help them? Kind of, I guess. They've got Katie. She's more help than I could ever be. Get it? Got it. Look out. Auger's set to the south 40-foot bin, swingway's in place. All we gotta do is move in the drive over pit. Hoping to get close to 45,000 dry bushels in that bin. These 3 are full. That Shivers bin, the shorter one, it's empty. And then that north one's got a full load of beans in it. Auger set, Time to go pick some more corn. Boo. Okay, I know that drone footage was absolutely killer. But would you really expect anything less from me? Hey, I may not be able to neatly load a semi-truck, but I can sure fly a drone. As a farmhand, I'm not exactly sure if that's good or bad, because that probably isn't going to help me on my resume. Right now the combines are picking some early planted DeKalb 64-65 double pro corn. Always a yielder and typically pretty heavy test weights. Yeah, 920 bushels on a decently full load. I guess that's not super heavy. I just made a generalization. Typically DeKalb and Bear genetics in general are heavier than Corteva genetics. Sorry, I had to set my camera down to race over to catch Marty's combine. He was so full I was about to run over. And he's just enough of a maniac that I would not put it past him to just keep picking as it's running off, waiting on the grain cart to show up. The active yield should have had a time to adjust by now. Running 263 dry. Just to serve as a reminder, the dry average has been running about 4 to 5% high, if that, compared to what I'm actually weighing out on the cart. They may be expensive, but DeKalb genetics are always good. You get one combine caught and the other one just sitting waiting. I'm up for a challenge. Besides, I've got Dixie Chicks on the radio. When I cleaned my cameras, I also readjusted them a little bit, and they're looking pretty good. Beautiful sunset this evening.
Whoever is leaving with the semi, do not come back.
I've got YouTube TV on my iPad, so I can watch NFL games in the tracks. Yep, just what I need, more distractions. Loading all the trucks to send to the elevator in the morning because we're not going to have enough storage space in our bins. These combines are relentless right now. Yep, this is a pretty common sight at this point. Stop the combine. Sunday evening, I think we're going to pull a plug, go home, spend some time with our families. Picking one last through, calling it quits. Katie rode up to the farm with Jeff and brought the pickup back for us so we don't have to walk home. That's it for tonight's harvesting session. Hard to say that wasn't another successful day of harvest. The trucks seem to do a lot better job keeping up when we're hauling to our big bins as opposed to trying to take loads to the elevator. The combine operators are too good to walk with the grain cart driver. It's like I'm below them. They keep looking back at me. I'm not sure if they're concerned about where I am. They may question my ability to decide which direction is north. Progress has been made on the south 48-foot bin. I'd say we've got close to 10,000 bushels in there. All 3 semis are sitting here at the farm loaded to go to the elevator in the morning. With yields like we're pulling on almost every field right now, we are going to run out of bin space relatively quickly. It slightly lessens the logistical shock if you can send loaded trucks to the elevator in the morning before the combines have really started, because you can start to put a dent in all that commercial storage hauling you have to do. I would also imagine that those 2 things right there are going to have some corn in them. Regardless, that's a conversation for a different day. It's definitely the end of the line for me. I'm tremendously appreciative of all of you continuing to show up and support the channel. I sure hope to see you all in the next episode. Until then, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great day. Peace!